What if I told you that the perfect man did exist, but he was cursed? I mean, he's just a complete handicapper. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. Might be the best I've ever seen. He could be the best looking guy in all of horse racing. I mean, he gives Matt Bernier a run for his money. I mean, we all saw it. He was minding his own business, walking back from the bathroom. Hottest girl on the bar just grabs him and says, "Reel me in." Turns out you can't always be that lucky, though.
Zulu Alpha charges up the rail under Tyler Gaffleon and takes the lead late. Zulu Alpha wins the Pegasus World Cup Turf.
Hello, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead. We got another fun show for you guys. It's finally here, the start, the big Derby preps. And this is, I think Caleb at one point said that this is pretty much it. This is the start of basically good racing up until practically Breeders' Cup. So, yeah, we're going to buckle in and get ready for the real heart of the horse racing season here. I'm starting off here with a nice little Maker's Mark Select Back Porch Bourbon Brulee here from, it's blurring out because of my effect here, but it's from Mariano's, which is one of the grocery stores here. Unlike where this gentleman lives, Mr. Mark Capitan, we are allowed to buy liquor in grocery stores.
Dude, that's a magical thing. I don't understand why we can't do that here, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, I do have to, I saw that picture earlier today that you got there on your background, which is why I wanted to lead in with the old Zulu Alpha video. So why don't you talk about that photo a little bit there, Mark?
Yeah, actually, I asked. It's a photo by Low Country Lens Photography. She goes by Rogue Wolf, I think 007 on Twitter. She's an independent horse photographer, and she got a really, nice snap of everyone's favorite horse, Zulu Alpha, if I could get my fat head out of the way here. So she does some real good stuff. Check her out.
Caleb, how are you feeling after that intro and seeing that majestic photo of Zulu Alpha back there?
I never thought I'd rather look at Mark, but
so racing going to be in your backyard this weekend. I know you had a bit of weather down there past couple days. How's everything looking? Everyone safe and sound?
Yeah, we had a pretty nasty tornado on Tuesday night. So that was pretty interesting, but thankfully me and everyone around me were all safe and fine. Some damage in New Orleans though, for sure, but nothing around fairgrounds. So they running again, so it should be beautiful weather for the weekend. Looks like it's going to be fast and firm, so it should be really nice weather and some good racing.
Nice. Oh, look at the fancy little green background you got there. What is it? What is that?
That's Chelsea Bailey riding a 5,000 claimer home.
You're still stoked about Hawthorne, aren't you?
I am.
Why don't you give the news about Hawthorne here? Oh, Brian.
I didn't really freeze. I just made you think I froze.
Oh my God.
No, if anybody's curious, man, you should check out the Hawthorne condition book. Hawthorne's got huge conditions coming up, bigger purses, probably due to know they're tracking the state worth of crap. So they're gonna have some $40,000 maiden races. They're gonna have increased purses. What are we, about 3 weeks out from opening day? Really excited to see some good Hawthorne racing.
Yeah, and hopefully they don't baby the turf course like our good friends at Arlington did. Looks like we already got some people in the chat here. We got Road Warrior checking in as usual, saying hello. Jay saying that, it looks like his brother is sitting behind Mark. So, and Steven asking if Zulu Alpha is a horse of a lifetime, what is Morticia? I believe that one's at you there, Mark, huh?
Yeah, and I reply to Broodmare because I never have to deal with her again. So that makes me very happy. I do have a shirt,
So I got a question. What is up with everyone drinking beer tonight?
I only have beer since I've been having heartburn from bourbon lately, so I'm taking it easy tonight.
Okay, Mark, what do you?
Pretty similar to Caleb. I just have been taking it a little bit easy, quite honestly.
Brian, I think, is just more of a beer guy in general.
I
So
like it.
Yeah.
If we decided to get crazy, though, I'm down. You want to start doing shots? Let's roll.
Yeah.
This is a baby splash, right, Caleb? The whole thing.
Yeah, that's one baby splash.
That's a Caleb pour, actually, is what we call it when you kill the bottle.
No wonder why you have heartburn.
Yeah, oddly enough, I went out to a brewery last night with some coworkers, and we went to Pollyanna Brewing, which is we went to the Roselle location, so just north of like the northwest suburbs, I guess, of Chicago. And I had like 3 beers there, and then I had maybe another beer or 2 with them back at their place. And like, man, dude, drinking beer like the next morning like is rough. Like bourbon doesn't give me as big of problems as beer does nowadays. So I don't know. More power to you guys if that's you guys taking it easy. For me, usually it's got to be like a very very deliberate choice for me to switch to beer. But it looks like we got about 8 minutes to post here at Turfway. We're gonna be here at race 6. We actually got a nice little late pick 4. Well, maybe I shouldn't say nice little pick 4 because Mark has already made multiple comments about the quality of these races. But we have a pick 4. Pick 4 is definitely here. So we got race 6 here. Claiming 30K, 6.5 furlongs here at Turfway Park. I guess I'll just open up here. I got a pick 4 ticket here I'm gonna be playing. I'm playing it 3 times. So I'm playing it for $1.50. It's gonna be a $24 ticket. I'm gonna start here with the 2-5. Looks like they're the top 2 choices at this point. But I didn't really see much else I really liked in this race, to be honest. I mean, the one kind of sat in the back of my head a little bit. But I think if I had to go with a top choice, it probably would be this 2. If you go back when they broke their maiden here at Turfway Park, I think that race fits in perfectly here. I don't know, Mark, you got any thoughts on this race?
Yeah, I kind of landed on the 2 outside horses, actually, the 7 and the 8. I thought the 8 was just getting a massive class drop here, coming out of the restricted ranks back into, in for a tag. And, looked like he ran much better last time he was in for a tag, which was January last year. So I thought he was kind of an interesting player here. And I also thought the 7 was a horse that may still have some upside, and I don't really know. I felt like all the others in here were horses that you kind of knew what to expect. And I realized, the horse is beating maidens last out, but does at least have a win across the surface. And I thought, this was the kind of race where I didn't want to take too short a price of a favorite. And I would rather take some of those outside horses who have the right run style and can maybe get up for a piece late.
Brian, what you got there?
My favorite stallion, sire, whatever, is the daddy of the 4. I think the 4 there, if you want to cut to the mattress commercial for our sponsors, that's okay. I'm okay with this. I think the 2's a very good looking horse. Obviously the layoff from the 2 has me questioning some things. The 4, more of a trainer play than anything else. Drury on a move up after layoff, all these things. He's profitable, like 30% trainer, all, a decent enough ROI. That's worth a play here. It's 4-1 right now. If I see something, if for some reason it goes up to 5-1, I'll be all over it. My cutoff here is probably 3-1. I'm not going to play with the 4 and the 2 being co-favorite or anything close to it. I know you said you like the 5. I couldn't really get to the 5 personally. I mean, the horse makes a ton of sense. does the route to sprint angle that is going to be why he's probably getting bet down like he is. But it's just one of those things. I'm going to go through the 4 here, and then I'll probably back up at the 2 defensively.
Mark, are you listening to Get Your Freak On in the background?
There is, I don't know. I think basketball playoffs are on, and they're playing it.
I mean, I just heard Missy Elliott go holla, and I was just like, okay, I guess Mark's parents are getting down back there, but
Don't turn around, Mark. Your parents are getting down.
Caleb, how did you see this race?
Yeah, the sequence is tough as far as this race goes. I mean, maybe I oversimplified it, but I just didn't see a whole lot of speed in the race. So I kind of looked for the 2 horses I thought could be forwardly placed here. And I think I wrote down the wrong one for one of them because, oh, no, never mind. I do have the right ones. Yeah, I actually went with the 1 and the 2. The 1 I thought ran a really nice race going a mile last time and now cuts back to a sprint here. I think I always like that angle, a track like Turfway, and from the inside draw, I think this horse should be able to hopefully clear. The 2 horse, it looks pretty terrible form. I mean, if you look at the dirt races, but the 1 race this horse had at Turfway was a very good race. I mean, the best race of his career. I know Asmussen's Barn is pretty much ice cold at Turfway right now, but I don't think there's a whole lot of world beaters in this $30,000 claiming race. So I took a shot with the 2, maybe getting back to Turfway might be the answer here. So those are the 2 that I used. I had a hard time latching on to really anybody else.
So basically, the only horse that no one talked about was the 3. So congratulations to the 3, who's going to win. Thirsty Owl. Thirsty Owl. Dude, I got to see if Jeej is on this horse. Jeej, that's actually what we should start calling Jeej, is a Thirsty Owl. The way he was slamming beers last weekend. So,
holy shit.
But yeah, it seems like the only horse we didn't really talk about here.
Hey, who do you
and
like,
of course, Nick Feldman comes in. His top pick is number 3 for me here. So he must have just heard us pick every other horse and decides to come in and be like, hey, I'm just going to boom the entire stream here.
Hey, Josh, where'd you land on in race 7 real quick? I'm looking for the back end of a double.
Race 7, I got the 1 and the 4.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll go with the 2 and the 3 then.
There you go. Hey. It's probably been a profitable angle at Turfways, just fading whatever I'm playing. I had I think 2 winners earlier today and was feeling pretty good, and then I just basically gave it all back. So Jay, I think Jay likes the 3 and the 7 next race. It looks like he was talking through and saying 1 and 2 hook here, but then he said he was looking at the next race. So I think he likes the 3 and the 7 next race. So hey, maybe the 2 and the 3 is a good play for the double. Jay also, but looking at his choices earlier today, he says he's got a beer and he's mixing with deviled eggs, and this is not going to be a good combo tomorrow. Yeah, beer and eggs. I don't know about that one, Jay. You might be in a world of hurt tomorrow.
I can tell you that no one will want to be within like a 10-foot radius of you all day tomorrow. You'll be left alone.
So looks like we got about a minute's post. They're walking towards post here. The next race we're going to take a look at here is going to be the Muniz Memorial here, going a mile and the 8th at Fairgrounds on Saturday. Courtesy of sorry. I have to read the full name, which is the Grade 2 Muniz Memorial Classic presented by Horse Racing Nation. And our friends at Horse Racing Nation were nice enough to provide a little overlay here, and that covers up most of Mark's face here. But let's give you a little snapshot here. Of the race here. It looks like Sacred Life's going to be your 2-1 favorite. Nice little action shot there, Sacred Life. Brian also wrote a nice little article covering this race, posted on ontherewronglead.com. I shared it on Twitter. So he broke down the race a little bit, and talking about seeing maybe if Sacred Life's going to bounce back from that Pegasus World Cup turf, or what is it, whatever they call it now. I don't even know. But the Pegasus turf, and see if these Chad horses bounce back here. But before we get into that, it looks like They are loading. Oh, they're turning. I think they're loading in the gate here. Oh, they're still walking. But
Man,
yeah, I thought this race came up pretty fun. There's some fun little horses in here. Are they already some early scratches, or are these morning lines wrong? I think these morning lines are wrong, but Sacred Life is the 2-1 favorite. Because that 2 Emmys is 15-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, HRN kind of uses their own odds before the actual lines come out.
Oh, okay. So maybe they, yeah.
So this is probably maybe a couple days ago.
Yeah, Ed just sent it to me this morning. So shout out to Ed for hooking us up with that. But yeah, they're loading the gate here. See what we got. Odds. Looks like the 2 is floated up to the favorite now at 2-1. You got 5-2 on the 5. So I'm eating chalk, much like Mark Capitan normally does.
I love how I give out 2 prices and get accused of eating chalk.
Yeah, the chalk eater. Man, that was a quick load.
well, they only has like 8 horses.
I just meant like the horse.
Are they getting a little weather, Josh? It looks like there might be some rain.
Might be raining. I can't really tell from this feed. Looks like the 1's going to grab the lead here.
Seems like nobody really wanted it.
No, it looked like the 1 just kind of inherited it.
Boy, that 3 looks good. Damn you, Nick Feldman.
10-1, this one's a good price. I'm surprised. That's pretty quick there for Turfway, isn't it? Oh, they're only going 6.5. I take it.
They're only going 6.5. That's fine. Looks like Jay's got the 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 here. He's got a pick 4. He's single to the 11 in the last race, which is I think one of the horses that you liked, Mark. Well, the 1 decided to call it a night.
Here comes the 8.
I'm sorry to tell you guys, but
You're sorry to tell us what?
Is this one of our classic premature?
yeah, I was going to celebrate a little earlier. Then I'm like, I will shut up for a minute because I have a history of calling these things a little too early.
Oh,
Okay,
looks like maybe yeah.
we're
It looks like maybe
safe.
you're good.
We're safe
There you go.
now.
There you go.
Bring
Nice
no
call
one
on that
listening to
8. Nice call on that 8, Chalk Eater. That was pretty good. See what happens when you step outside your comfort zone a little bit, Mark? You connect on a nice little price there. I saw him circling the old 8 on his notebook there. But yeah, apparently class did matter in this.
Why are you guys talking about
race.
Mark taking the 8? I heard him say he likes the 7. That's it. He said, I like the 7. That's all I heard.
And then he froze.
And he froze.
Yeah,
It's
I
weird.
don't know what happened there. Oh, Sixer. Yeah, look at Sixers. Sixers giving you a little.
Over here,
High
giving out
fives. He's nice on
17
the
to
8
1s.
there. Yeah. Road Warrior saying good stuff. Nice, Jay. Look at everyone, dude. Everyone's giving you love except for us. So that
Sounds right.
sounds about.
I mean, that's pretty
right.
normal.
Yeah.
That's par for the course right there.
Yeah. So
All right. Chatter all of his friends were like his Tinder dates.
look at I love Nick Feldman. Like he shows up basically every week and always hops in the chat and is just like it's great. Great guy to talk to via chat, and he puts up some real insightful stuff. But man, if he would have boomed us with that 3, I might have ended the stream early since we talked about 7 of the 8 horses in this race. So, but nice, Mark. That was a nice little play. If only you actually bet it.
Yeah, I did go full tout on that
Yeah.
there and threw it out there, and I'm going to claim it, but I didn't have anything going through it.
Yeah. So.
Oh, it's just a Ginger Sheets play.
Yeah.
Ginger
Sheets.
Ginger sheets.
But all right, let's take a look at the. Oh, I got the Turfway still up. Let's take a look at the Horse Racing Nation Stakes here, race 10. Brian, since you wrote that lovely article, that means I know that you've actually looked at this race, so I feel comfortable having you go first on this one.
That's a pretty big assumption, Josh.
So I just looked at optics and that was it. I don't know
Okay.
anything else about the race. No. Hold on. I've got to mute this Turfway call because that's going to drive me nuts. I thought this was an interesting race. Obviously, the both Chad horses are coming in with question marks, and they're going to take money because it's Chad on turf. And you know, I tried to remember and I couldn't look up the stats under the gun earlier, but I thought the outside posts on turf routes at fairgrounds were not where you wanted to be. So I know Santin's gonna take a ton of money. For me being a doesn't class does whatever we're gonna go with this stream, guys. Does class matter or not? I'm not quite sure. But I did like the 4 Devramani. I think the 4 has huge back class, probably the class of the field here, but I have a hard time coming off of some of the cheaper speeds that I referenced in the article on thewronglead.com. And I'll be curious to see where Mark ended up here and Josh, because I'm not looking at the stream, but I want to see if there's any cherries in this field, because I was trying to make a strong argument for a horse here, Josh, for 3 cherries when I was writing that article, and I was like, I wonder who's gonna get there. But for me, Devramani with that class, with Joel coming aboard, the horse has ran its best with Joel aboard. Granted, that was a year and a half ago. So if Joel can stay close enough and the track is decent, right? In my mind, Joel got first call from Chad Brown, so I'm thinking Chad prefers the 3 here, but I'm just nuts that way.
So Caleb, since he wants to hear from me and Mark, why don't you go next?
That's what I was going to say. I mean, well, you can just skip me this time, I guess. Brian's interested in hearing it. Yeah, so I thought this was an interesting race. If you look at the figures, then probably one of the 2 Chad Brown horses should win. These are 2 fake Chad Brown horses, as I'll be the first one to point out always. So I'm not going to bet either of them, especially Sacred Life. I could potentially see the argument for Devamani, I guess, just based on Rosario getting up. But Sacred Life, I want less than nothing to do with here. So the horses that I actually kind of landed on was the number 4 Cavalry Charge. So this is a kind of a hard horse for me to get a handle on, because that last race was fantastic. I just don't know where it really came from. I mean, maybe the horse just kind of turned a corner now in the 5-year-old season. I mean, maybe the horse just has been waiting to get this trip and this distance at fairgrounds. I don't know. Maybe the horse just didn't, because he ran her stinker 2 races back in the listed stakes at fairgrounds. But that last race, I mean, he went out there and carved out some serious fractions over a fairground turf course that was playing pretty slow that day. I mean, if you look and see where 2 Emmys and 40 under finished, who were the horses that were sort of involved in that early pace battle that day, they finished way up the track. I mean, 2 Emmys runs 10th by 7 lengths, 40 under, packs it in 9th by 7 lengths. Cavalry Charge goes gate to wire in a race that really set up for closers and off the pace runners. I thought that was an outstanding race. This horse doesn't need the lead. I mean, he has multiple wins coming from off the pace. And yeah, I just think this horse might be in good form right now. I mean, he's got wins in 3 of his last 4. He does throw some clunkers sometimes, which are a little bit hard to understand. But, if you don't think that he goes, bounces hard off that effort, which I don't necessarily think that he will, I think Cavalry Charge is a really interesting player in this field.
Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Brian kind of mentioned the 2 Chads in here, and I think the 2 Chads both make sense. But again, as Caleb kind of pointed out, they're both quote unquote fake Chads, aren't they? They're both horses that have a lot of question marks. You have to make some excuses for their last couple of races for both of them. And if I want to make excuses for a horse, I want to get paid to make excuses for a horse. And the horse I ended up on was the 8 2 Emmys. I know Brian liked this one a little in his article as well, but this is a horse that has run historically really well at the fairgrounds. Horse that likes to get its photo taken, likes to hit the try. You're talking 13 of 19 on the board. 6 of 8 on the fairgrounds on the board, and has done really well at this distance. You have to squint a little and look back. The last race was not the greatest, but if you're a time form person, if you go 2 back, that 2 back figure where the horse arguably didn't win, but that 2 back figure is faster than anything that either of the Chads have ever run. So I thought 2 Emmys was really interesting here as a pretty major player. Going by the overlay that Josh put up, I would imagine that 15 to 1 morning line is just really, really bad, because if they're saying that this horse is 10 to 1, they're obviously leaning that maybe even shorter than that. And I think Tuomi's probably takes some money, but it's, Tuomi's is a horse that I can make an excuse for that last race. And maybe not your most likely winner, but definitely a horse that I think hits the board at a pretty nice price.
Before Josh sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
So I want to ask this question right now because Caleb was on Cavalry Charge and Mark's on 2 Emmys. Any fear that Cavalry Charge, based on that last out race, is going to be gunning up front early? That's where the problem I had with trying to handicap this race is Cavalry Charge going to be pushing 2 Emmys to the point where it sets up for an off the pace type?
Brian, unfortunately, I believe Gun It is overseas right now.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, to your point, there's 3 horses in here that probably all want to be pretty, Wait, what did I miss?
Nothing that's worth repeating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
wait, it's Bank It, isn't it? Is it Bank It or Gun It? Who's shipped over to UAE?
That would be Bank It.
Oh, I thought it was Gun It. My bad. All right, continue.
Wow, Josh, that's a massive fail. No, there's a couple in here that probably want to be forwardly placed. Somebody Cavalry Charge, a 40 under, or a 2 Emmys, all are going to want to be forwardly placed, and you can make probably the argument that they all need the lead. I think I'm a little more forgiving of 2 Emmys as a horse that probably wants to be really forwardly placed, but I don't think he's a desperate need the lead type. Whereas, somebody like a Cavalry Charge has one from just off as well. I would think, and I guess 40 under has as well. So I think that there is a lot of pace in here. But from what I've been told about the fairgrounds, again, I'm not somebody who plays fairgrounds nearly as much as the other 3 of you, that being on the front end here on turf routes, I thought is the place to be, right?
It started off the meet with a pretty strong closer bias on the turf. Since then, it's really evened out. I would say it's been playing pretty fair lately. It depends on what the rails are at. I'm sure the rails will be down for their big day. So with the rails down, it does sort of play a little more fair.
There it is.
But yeah, I mean, the pace scenario is murky here, right? I mean, the 3 horses that we think can go for the lead here, pretty much went for the lead last time, and Cavalry Charge was the best that day. You go back 2 races ago, and there was a totally different outcome with the same 3 horses kind of all mixing it up on the front. So it is tough to really get a feel for what these horses will do any given day. You could have a 3-way duel going 23-47, or you could have one of those 3 just clear off and go 49. It is hard to get a read on the pace scenario here.
I had a very, very difficult time with race. I really like, you got 2 horses in this race that I have not been on the right side of the last couple times in both 40 under and 2 Emmys. You guys know I love to bet speed. So definitely have not. I mean, I've bet 2 Emmys the last 3 times out, and the horse is just not won. But I don't know. Maybe 2 Emmys just wants to go further. I don't know. I mean, that the Sycamore. I mean, he ran very, very, very well there. Basically was a winning effort there. Is the fastest fig in this field. And the Mr. D that or the Arlington, the Starbucks 400,000 or whatever you called it, Brian. He ran a good race, but that was going a mile and a quarter. So I don't know if maybe it just wants a little bit longer. At the same time, that's also like you gotta look at the board. I mean, like, if I were getting 15-1, which I don't think I'm going to, I think it's going to be half of this, if not even less. Then yeah, I think you got to take a very, very hard look, because I mean, James Graham is the leading jock here. James Graham rides the turf very, very well at fairgrounds. I know Brisnet doesn't seem to think so, but I always think he rides the turf very well. So I think, like, on the local connection, it makes sense, but it made sense last time, and the horse finished 10th behind 7. I don't know if the horse is pulled up. It just was not a good effort. Caleb's horse Cavalry Charge here, wired on it was a fairly honest pace, I think, but it was a pretty slow opening quarter, and then I think it sped up a little bit in that second quarter. But 1 at 35 to 1, you're gonna get a lot less than that here. I don't know. You didn't go to the wedding, so maybe don't go to the funeral. I think on this 4 here. I gave a hard look to the 540 under, but I basically I'm going to leave this horse off and he's going to boom me. So I'm not on 40 under either. It really had me looking at 2 other outsiders. The 6 Captivating Moon. I mean, he won that Fairgrounds last year, closing, once they had a bit of pace in front of him. And I mean, I think that there is going to be a fair bit of pace here. I know it was the 3 same horses as before, but I think 2 Emmys has got to go, and I think James Graham knows that, and I think that you might get a little bit of faster pace here. So I really like Captivating Moon with a little bit of pace in front of him. I'm in agreement with you, Caleb, on the fake Chads. I'm gonna try to avoid them and try and get some value. But the other horse I'm interested in is a 7, another mystery. One of JB Connolly at a pretty nice price. I don't think he's going to get the respect that he deserves off that win. Is 2 for 7 here at Fairgrounds, and I think once again, if we get a little bit of pace in front, I think that this is going to set up nicely for one of these 2 closers. I mean, maybe the Chads just outkick them both, but Captivating Moon wins 1 race a year, and I think this is going to be it. So I'm going to take a shot here with the 6 and the 7. Fade the short prices. Interested in 2 Emmys if I get a good price, but I just don't think the price is going to be there for me. I probably need 12 to 1 or so, 11 to 1, 10 to 1, and I don't think I'm going to get that. I think we're going to be more in the 6 to 7 to 1 range there. But
you don't think this race is too short for another mystery? That's the one thing I kept looking at is another mystery's best performances all seem to come mile and a half, mile and 3/16 kind of thing. That was the red flag to me there. Any thought to that?
I mean, it could be, but I mean that Black Tie Affair, where Flavian rode at Arlington, was a mile and 16th, won that race. I mean, the figure came back pretty soft, but the horse is 6 now. The horse is in its prime turf years here. So, and I think that is coming off a career best effort, and let's see if we can repeat something like that. I know it was a mile and a half, so. How did Timeform have that race, Mark?
Another mystery race. 1 second.
Yeah.
It liked the JB Connolly race.
Yeah, 118. Yeah, it liked it.
I mean, it's not the fastest in the field, but it's within punching distance.
Come on, let's be honest though. No horse comes out to start 6-year-old campaign and runs a career best by 15. I mean, you can't. There's no way you can trust that figure coming out of Houston, can you?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure Zulu Alpha did that.
I didn't hear that. I mean, you can't trust the Brisnet figure. We all know Brisnet marathon figs are, a little bit loopy. But it was a good race. It was. This horse, I agree with you, Brian. He's probably better going longer, but the way I'm going to play this race is I'm going to use the horse that Joss mentioned. I'm going to use Cavalry Charge, and I'll probably throw in 2 Emmys, even though I don't really like that horse. Is my positioning is I'm not going to use either Chad Brown, and I think it's pretty open after that. So I'm going to be spread pretty wide, try to beat Chad here. And I mean, honestly, the one horse that would probably be what I thought the most likely winner that nobody talked about was the 9, Santon. I mean, did anyone else kind of look at that horse?
I looked at that horse for a while, and it's one of those things. The horse has a great career path, right? Started as a 4-year-old in September. Has progressed nicely. I mean, a maiden, a protected allowance, the Hollywood Derby, and then you can almost forgive last out, right? For first winter off, coming back, went from California to Fairgrounds. I want to make an argument for this horse. I really would like to, but it's one of those things. Why can't you, right? We know what the other horses are. If you're going to take the approach of I hate Chads, right? They're fake Chads, and we're legitimizing a couple of 15 to 1 morning line horses that are 3 cherries that may fade off, coming with suspect figures from Houston. What's the knock on the 9 here? I mean, I say that at more of a question, right? Because I couldn't come up with a strong knock against the 9, but I feel like the 9's going to be one of those horses that I want more price to show me. I'll let him beat me Saturday at a short price, and then I'll go to the funeral in 3 months when he's 3 to 5 and I single him.
My main things with the 9 are he hasn't run a figure yet that is as fast as half the field has run. He's going to take money because everybody is talking about him. He seems to be the hype horse. And it's a horse that, again, you talked about, he's got this great career path. A horse that doesn't make it to the track until September of their, 3-year-old season. I would imagine he had some soundness issues, and horses like that are, unsound, take forever to get to the track, seem to be slow to get going. It looks like he has a great upward trajectory, but he also may be a horse that just plain disappears and never runs again. Runs a stinker of a race and he's gone. I realize it's a Godolphin homebred and everything else, and they don't need to rush him, into racing, but I don't know. I just feel like this horse ends up too short for his chances of winning. If I could take a short priced horse, I'll take one of the Chads. Just not the kind of, he sounds like a value trap kind of a horse.
Yeah, I get that. I like the 9. I mean, he's definitely going to be on all my tickets. I mean, I just think in a field that's so full of so many exposed horses, I kind of want the 4-year-old that's slightly raced, and watching that, the fairgrounds race last time that a couple of these runners came out of, he just looked like a horse that was still kind of figuring things out, still kind of green. I mean, and probably needed that start. I mean, he was really late to change his leads, not until he was inside the 8th pole. So I thought that was kind of a horse that just really needed that start. And with any step forward here, I mean, pairing tops in his last 2, I would expect him to move forward. I mean, I think he makes sense. So I'm going to use him. I mean, 7-2 is probably as low as I want to go on him, but I'm going to use him.
All right, cool. Well, looking at the chat, there was a couple of questions about the 9 here. Sixer was asking about the 9. Nick Feldman was basically saying 2 Emmys at 15 to 1% value. I don't think you get it, but he thinks that his top pick is Santon here. So, and Jay also, he says that he's interesting, but he's afraid if anyone gets close to him, he's going to give it up. So. PDT saying, so we take the entire field, and that seems basically what Caleb's doing minus the Chads. So Nick really likes the Del Mar race for Santon, so he thinks that fits in.
That was a good
really
race.
Well. So, but I mean, we all know the story about West Coast turf horses. So,
Mike Smith.
We got Mike Smith, man. Mike Smith down the hill. Let's go.
He's been he must have found the fountain of youth or something, because man's been riding well the last month or so.
Hey, the port Lamborghinis don't pay for themselves, fellas.
So we got race 7 here at Turfway Park. We got a maiden claim in 30, going a mile for fillies and mares here. And your the current favorite is the 7 at 3 to 1. You got the 2 at 7 to 2, the 9 at 7 to 2, and then the board. I mean, the board's actually pretty flat. You got only one horse in double digits here. You got a field of 8. So I am dead in my pick 4. Do I run back to pick? Why do I even ask?
Yes, yes, you run it back
to pick 3.
Snap back.
So I got the 1 in the 4. I got the 1 in the 4 here. I thought the 1 was.
Hey, hold on. Mark won last race. Let him start.
Okay, Mark, who do you like here? Since you got a race right.
Chuck.
No, actually, I do. I like Josh's 4, the Corrales horse, quite a bit, and I also thought both the 6 and the 7 made sense. Those are the 3 horses that kind of jumped off the page from an optic standpoint, and I tend to play this horse. This track seems to do best from an optic standpoint. So I thought all 3 of them made sense, but I think if there's any race in this sequence that I had a real hard time at, this was the race that I had the hardest time, just in the fact that this entire field is 0% to sort of like 3% trainers. It's the field of trainers who have horses that like to win, horses with 1 million starts. I'm just, I think Caleb is the same way. I just don't bet for over 10 or over 11 maidens. They can beat me at that point, once they get to 5 or 6 starts. So there's just a ton of horses with question marks in here. And yeah, but because you're making me 4, 6, and 7.
I'm sorry, Josh. I should have known better to push for Mark to go first. As soon as he started breaking down trainer angles of a Thursday night track, I knew we were in trouble.
Nick
apologies.
Feldman likes the 4 and the 7 here, so he's playing pick 3 here with the 4, 7, 9, 2, 6, 7. I'm basically just running. I'm running back my pick 4 as pick 3, 1, 4, 4, 5, 2, 6. I'm also going to bet this 4 to win at 8-1. I didn't think I was going to get
1, 5 or 1. Oh, you're playing you're playing it back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so 1, 4, 4, 5, 2, 6. So I just put the pick 4 ticket up there, but cross out that first leg since that was a dud.
Dude, I'm afraid because we're all on this 4.
Yeah, I'm on the 4 also.
All 4 of us, plus Nick, plus whoever else is out there. You can't tell me we're all going to be right. This horse is 8-1. We might be the only 6 idiots betting on this horse.
All right, I got a challenge. Tell me why you like the 4 and you can't use the word Corrales.
The 4 is second time Lasix here. I think that's important. Had a nice
at least that's an angle.
had a nice workout after the last race, and the 4 third career start here. Third career start, likely to improve. And then Delaware shippers do really good in the state of Kentucky.
Massive class drop for the 4 as well. So very similar take in the last race. Most of this field is horses who have been, in the maiden claiming ranks a number of times, and the 4 is first time there. So always something I liked about.
Gerardo.
No, I am never a bet the jock guy, but at Turfway sometimes you gotta admit when you've been bested, and just when Corrales shows up on a horse like this that doesn't really make sense on paper and it's not really a great race, it's worth a $10 flyer to me. I actually saw this race the same way as Mark. I had the 4, 6, and 7.
Hey, is the 4 an overlay? All right, is the 2 an overlay at 7-2 here? The 0 for 11 horse. That's Mark's wheelhouse.
I don't know, man.
I had the horse.
One thing when you have a horse.
They both tried to talk.
Of course, he's got it written down.
They don't say nothing. They both stop and they both start talking.
It's 2 women at a stop sign.
Dude, of course, he's like, yeah, I have it written down. But the only time I really I'll excuse a horse that's like this is if it's doing something different, and or you're starting to actually see improvement, right? Like maybe as a 4-year-old or something like that, like this horse. But I don't know, the horse seems like to have run the same kind of race and just clunk up for second or third every time out. So,
dude, I'm sorry I did not see this. Charles just pointed out. Can you highlight Charles, because this might make Caleb blush here? His favorite trainer has a horse right here.
Yeah, he likes the 8, the Anemia horse. The Anemia horse there, Sunflower Road.
Yeah, the horse makes some sense. Come on, Caleb, talk it down. Besides, without using the phrase Anna, talk this horse.
Ms. Mia. I don't know. I mean, I didn't like the 4 or the 8 that much. Just she's not having a good meet. She's not good off of long layoffs, and I'm not really, the 2 tries at Turfway last time. I mean, I'm not really convinced it's a class drop because this whole filly's tried this level twice. But there's no monsters in here. I mean, anybody could legitimately win this race, and I wouldn't be too surprised. So, if you want to take a shot at the 8 at what I'm sure is a generous price, 16-1, I mean, you could do worse for sure.
Charles has boomed us before.
Is Charles the guy that gave out that? Who did he give out that boomed us before? He's not the one that gave out the Gonzalez horse, was he?
No, that was somebody with the same last name as a trainer. It was like the trainer's son or something.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I don't remember if it was here. I know he gave out a huge winner on the Horse Racing Nation stream before ours, and it was like a 18-1 horse, and he had it single. It was crazy. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, on this 4 lightly raced, dropping out of a maiden special weight into maiden claiming, the only time that I ever even think about class in this this type of race. And you get the improvement with Corrales aboard. Michael Ewing apparently is 25% first at a route, which is kind of crazy, with a pretty decent sample size. So I thought the 4 made sense. Mostly, like I said, on the lightly raced angle. But I think you can make the same case.
An extra 400 pounds.
I think you can make the same case for the 9. Honestly, I forgot who mentioned the 9. Didn't someone say the 9?
Somebody was asking if Dale Romans is really that
Dale
bad.
Romans bad.
Dave J. Barista. Yeah, I mean, you can make a case for this 9.
I've made a blood oath pact to never bet a Dale Romans horse ever again. So he's not going to get my money.
Especially with Jersey Joe aboard.
No, with Joe Talamo.
Smoking Joe.
I mean, they have the same first name, so Brian was close. It's good for him.
Oh, is this you on the dating game?
Talamo they're not Talamo. Corrales is just out there taking the lead over the 1 and the 2 somehow.
Also taking the lead, and is that my eyes
Has he
deceive
been
me?
good? I've only watched the 1 race.
Do my eyes deceive me? But did he float up to 7-1?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
correct.
someone
That
really
went
must
down
have been
from like 10-1 to 3-1.
someone really must be listening to us,
Look
and
at-
they realize the fucking
look at-
fade this 4.
Look at Charles pimping off Popo Stream. You know, Josh tried to be on Popo Stream, but he got tossed aside for the other guy, Caleb's twin brother,
Jared
he got
Bush.
bounced for Jared Bush. But
Caleb Bush.
I mean, I would have asked to be on the stream, but he already had Jared, and we basically picked the same horses. So
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. No, I had actually asked Papo to come on for Turfway one night, but we just haven't been able to link up.
Fellas, we're toast.
Yeah.
8 people on the same horse in the same stream.
can I get a golden rail?
Come on.
I mean, that
Dale
camera
Romans.
angle, I think we're behind by
Oh my
like
God,
3
the
lengths.
C's just parted for the 7, but the 6 might have all the momentum anyway.
3.
Oh, 3's got some steam too. It's the weird Turfway angle, but 7's going to get it.
This is always when you have something written down, you don't play it. It always comes in, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you write that down defensively? 7/3.
I think he means his pick 4. Was 7 the favorite there?
No. Yes.
He
Well, maybe
was no, he's 3-1. Yeah,
No,
he's high
co-favorite.
favorite with the 2.
No, he was favored by $400.
All right, Nick's home. Nick's home
Off
here
an
in the
8 to
first
1
leg
line,
with
too. It's pretty rough.
he's the 4 and the 7. He's got a $5 pick 3 going. So Charles, it looks like he cashed a double. He had 278 here. So Mark,
a little bit of trip on the 6, and he may have got there, but he was wide, took a few bumps. But our Corrales horse did not have it today.
I don't know, man. Maybe Corrales doesn't have it anymore. Maybe the magic's over.
So look at that. The 7 changes jocks to Rafael Bejarano and then gets in the circle to the same level class. You know,
Wait, I thought the
the
126-pound guy on the back. Yeah.
What'd you say?
We're both trying to say the same thing about I've heard this 126-pound guy riding around on him really doesn't have that much effect on the outcome of the race. So
He doesn't. Do you guys not pay attention to that conversation yesterday? 5 pounds does not matter.
I definitely did not. I did not pay attention to that. I saw that, and I was getting ready to jump in with my class doesn't matter at like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I was like, you know what? Like, I have a feeling this is going to be the thread today that's just going to blow up on horse racing Twitter. I'm just not going to touch it.
I wasn't going
sure
to get
enough-
involved, but then
once I was home from work, I'm like, all right, now I could jump in, and then like nobody responded.
whoa, hold on. You go on Twitter on your free time? That's a work activity only, mister.
I'm not DeRosa. I don't get paid to be on Twitter. Let's move on here. That's the Louisiana Derby here. I think we could probably knock out these next 2 races pretty quickly. The Louisiana Derby, and then we got some races at Dubai we want to talk about. But Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. All right, was this the start of the 100 point preps? And we got a short price favorite here. in Epicenter at 7-5. And I had kind of a hard time getting around Epicenter. I had some ideas, some alternatives, but I mean, is anybody here really like 100% against Epicenter?
Yes.
Of course you are, Brian, because you're just a contrarian.
I'm going to use him as a defensive B. So
Of course you are.
Of course you are. Yeah. So Caleb, you're 100% singling Epicenter, not thinking about anything else.
Yep.
Okay. That's kind of how I'm leaning. I had a couple other thoughts, but Brian, make your case against Epicenter here. Who do you like here instead of Epicenter?
Is this thing on? All right. So last out, visually wasn't there for me, right? Sure, he was geared down. Let's just go with that. But I would have liked to have seen a step forward a little bit, either in timing or performance or visual perception. So to me, this horse has been kind of stagnant, which is not what you want to see a month and a half before the Derby, in my opinion. So I am going to pivot to the newcomer because I like Hot Cox.
Can we get a sound clipping of that?
Yeah,
There you go.
I'll have it. I'll have it on Twitter tomorrow.
Thanks.
So Florent Giroux, Brad Cox. Okay, sure, the horse broke maiden, then optional claimer. I like the jump up from Fairgrounds to Oaklawn Park. And now it's, again, just like I said earlier, it's the unknown for this horse. It's not so much that I love Zozos. I think Epicenter is going to be way short priced to a point where I can't back that horse financially. It's not going to be worth it because on paper, to me, he doesn't stand out that much. Like he's going to step forward and shut this field down. So why not take something like Zozos at 8-1? Maybe even, if the whole world's an Epicenter, can I get 10-1 on Zozos? And I say this saying that last out for Epicenter, I singled Epicenter. I loved Epicenter. But after seeing it on paper and starting to go through it a little bit, I don't know if the horse is progressing where you want to be come the last weekend of March before the Derby. So I'm going to zig a little bit. I'm going to go to Brad Cox. I'm going to go to Florent Giroux. I'm going to go with a horse making his third lifetime start and see what happens.
I will make a beer bet with you, right? So 6-pack of beer of your choice, obviously within reason. I'm not driving out to Vermont to pick up this beer, but pack of beer. Zozos goes off at less than 5-1.
Oh, 100% Zozos goes off at less than 5-1.
I'm hoping not, but I can't take that bet, Josh.
Okay. I'm just saying. You were real adamant about this price. Like
Brad Cox and Florent Giroux at the fairgrounds, there's no way he's going to be 12-1. But if he was, I'd be all about it, right? I mean,
Zozos is going to be the second choice in this race, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I kind of think so as well.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking Pioneer of Medina may take some money for run style. Rattle and Roll may take some money just because you can excuse the last race a little bit. Carried extra weight. Ooh, doesn't matter. But, so that was my thought. I'm
getting a whole pound break now.
Right. So I was thinking maybe Zozos would be third or fourth choice was my hope.
So, Brian, you're just taking picks now from our favorite Canadian, huh?
Why?
He's all about Zozos. He was giddy about him yesterday.
I haven't talked to him. I have not talked to our favorite Canadian since he's returned from his Baltimore trip. At least not one-on-one. Was it in the group chat?
Yeah, he was in group chat talking.
Oh.
He was all about Zozos. He was wondering what he was going to get for live odds, and he's like, "There's no way I'm getting 8-1. Will I get at least 5-1?"
Oh,
and just from the hype I've seen on Twitter, all the wise guys seem to be on Zozos. I don't know if you get 5-1 here.
No, I did not see that conversation at all. So I feel better knowing our favorite Canadian agrees with me, though.
I think everybody and their mother is going to try to beat Epicenter with Zozos.
Zozos is currently 5-1 on Bovada, so in fixed odds. Second choice.
Yeah.
Nobody asked you, Caleb.
Yeah, I mean, I think Epicenter makes a lot of sense, but I have a very similar take to what Brian has here with the fact that I want to see a little more. It doesn't look like he's kind of ran the last 3 races that were all sort of the same, and I want to see him getting better and taking that next step forward. And I kind of landed on the horse that beat him 2 back with Call Me Midnight. If you look at Call Me Midnight, the 3, the 2 times that I realized the 122-pound guy that is along for the ride on top doesn't matter, but Jamie Graham is 2 for 2 on this horse, and has run the 2 best races that he has ever run. That maiden at Churchill and the Lecomte. So
for the record, Jimmy Graham played tight end for the Bears last season. He's not 122 pounds.
Jimmy. Isn't his nickname Jimmy? I don't know. Okay, my bad. Jimothy something. James Graham. Yeah, me screwing up names. There's a new thing. No, so the 2-time James Graham has been up on this horse. He's won with him, and he's put up some really respectable figures. And Briz doesn't like the figures quite as much, but Time Form, put that Lecomte right equal to the race out of Epicenter. And I realize, Call Me Midnight does have to sort of probably take a step forward, but he looks at his races, he basically takes a small step forward every single race. And if you look at all the trouble he overcame in Lecomte, he was 2 or 3 wide, he was in the 6th path at the 316th. He didn't have the easiest of trips. So I think there's probably some more there in the tank, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he takes another step forward. And I think he's one that gets a little bit lost on the board. So, obviously, I know Josh says this all the time. There's a price that's right. I need 6-1 or a little more than that, but I thought Call Me Midnight was super interesting in this spot.
Let's take a look at chat here. There's some interesting discussion actually going on. Nick with the big picture, big brain thinking here. He's against Epicenter for the Kentucky Derby, so he hopes he wins this race because he wants him to take money. So he's already.
That's a take I don't mind. I don't mind.
Yeah, I saw that take, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that take quite a lot, actually." Because
being against him in this race feels kind of ambitious to me.
I just don't think maybe if there was a new shooter in here that I was interested in, I'd be a little, maybe I'd have a different thought on it, but.
Is Zozos not a new shooter?
Yeah, if there's a new shooter I was interested in. Apparently Gonzaga lost.
Yep, they got beat by Whooping.
Arkansas. Yeah. Shout out to Chase.
God, here we go.
I hope Chase had a bet.
So Woo Pig, who could barely beat Vermont.
Yep.
Now we're gonna have to hear all this crap. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, Gonzaga's barely beat basically everybody they've played, so you had to feel like this was coming.
Yeah, but now I joined the rest of you with a busted bracket.
Yeah. At
least that lasted an extra day.
Jay saying, try telling your wife or girlfriend that 5 pounds does not matter. See how that goes. Yikes.
Mark can't do that.
Jay also saying Echo Zulu has great form against 2-year-olds. So he's talking about Echo Zulu here, taking a shot against at 3-5. I didn't look at that race, but
Echo Zulu will be 1-9 in that field.
Oaks, yeah.
Oh yeah, 1-9. That horse will be. Everyone else in that field is going to be a massive price. That horse is miles the fastest. I respect the shot against. I mean, you have fun, but boy, that's a ballsy stand.
See, and that's where I was able to come up and say, okay, I single the Oaks, and then I can take everybody but Epicenter in the Derby.
Yeah, that's kind of my take as well, is that I can single the Oaks, and then I can be deeper in the, Derby.
Yeah, that's kind of my take as well. Is I can single the Oaks, and then you single Epicenter or toss him at that point. I think. Yeah, I don't want a 1-9 with a even money or 6-5 horse. And spread, so I'm going to have probably double singles, and then that's why I'm tossing the Chad Browns. I'm looking for value earlier.
It depends how you're structuring it. You could leverage up that 2 legs with Zulu Alpha to Epicenter if you wanted to, and somewhat offset it. But it all depends on how you're approaching the sequence.
Jay asking if the slow pace in Zozo's last race concerns you at all.
I think it has to a little bit, right? I mean, he got away with a 25-second middle fraction there, and Barossa dead heated for second, who we know Barossa's not very good. It's one of the Bob Baffert, reject kind of horses. I mean, the maiden race came back strong, but that was a terrible allowance race. So I think it is to concern you, but at the same time, the horse won by 10. So it isn't like the slow pace and, he was all out to win. I mean, he won that race handily. So it's concerning, but not enough to turn me off the horse at 8-1. It's probably concerning enough to turn me off the horse at second choice.
See, but that seems like one of those things where they knew what they had, and Florent had instructions of give the horse a breather when you can. And then obviously it didn't matter there. The horse, based on how the horse finished, I don't think finishing is going to be a problem for Zozos. Even if they were to run the 23-24 middle fraction, I think that he would be okay. My opinion.
Charles saying he's fading Epicenter for the 2 and the 3, so he's taking Zozos and Call Me Midnight. He's kind of combining Brian and Mark here for just like some, I don't know.
I'm curious. What's everybody think of Rattle and Roll? Because I personally was really high on this horse coming into the Fountain of Youth, and he absolutely laid an egg. And there were some signs that he might kind of going into that race, like the workout reports from the morning had him getting outworked by a first-time starter. And that first-time starter actually didn't even win. And the horse is just flat. I mean, do you give him a pass on that? He looks like he worked his last out on March 19th. He was working with Smile Happy. He looks second best in that work to my eye, but still a good work. I mean, do you give him a pass, or do you? Was last time you're kind of gun shy? I don't know what to do with him personally. I mean, I'm going to probably single Epicenter, so it's not that hard for me. But when you get beyond Epicenter, I do think it gets interesting, and I'm curious for you guys who are not as high on Epicenter, what you did with Rattle and Roll.
He was a toss for me. I just didn't really think he's improved. He's one that sort of that British Futurity seemed to come out of nowhere. Maybe he just didn't handle the track well in the Fountain of Youth. There could be a bunch of reasons there. I guess he has every opportunity to step forward. He just wasn't a horse that jumped off the page at me.
He needs pace, and a lot more pace than he's going to see probably on Saturday, is my opinion. That's, he needs to see one of those 23-second quarters, 22-second quarters, 45, 46 middle fraction, and then come flying late. I don't want to say class, but the horse is probably just outclassed at this point.
Do you think I don't understand with him why they keep trying to take him as far back as they have? Like, wouldn't you? I mean, I would think you. Well, I don't know. What do I know? But you would think he'd be a horse you'd want a little more engaged early, especially as a 3-year-old. They tend to sort of, for the most part, lose interest when they are, 7, 8, 9 lengths back and eating a lot of dirt.
And I'm just saying the thing is like you got to think of it this way, right? The horse's best races. I mean, he was a little bit closer, right? Second call, he was 2.5 off, in both of his wins. And I guess technically he also was in the Fountain of Youth, but I don't know. I think he could be the quintessential, just needed one. Needed one off the layoff, and was going to fire back a little bit better. I mean, if you look at his other races, his maiden race, he didn't look that good. Ended up getting pulled up off the layoffs the next time, and then he came back and he won. And after I think he got going a little bit, he ran that nice British Futurity. So I think I don't think he wins this race, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes second or third in here. So I definitely think he's a use for like exotic type bets.
He was working out. He was working out really good before that last race, though. I have a hard time thinking he wasn't ready for that. I mean, look at some of those workouts. He was running 58, 59. I mean, those are some stellar workouts for a 3-year-old coming off of a layoff.
I'll give him another shot underneath. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes second and still gets into the gate. So,
you guys talk about who you like yet, Josh?
I'm basically singling Epicenter, and
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
really interested in anybody else in this race.
Yeah,
But I'm going to circle back because there's another price that I like, and well, we can't talk about all of them if we don't talk about all of them. But I kind of wanted to like the 5 Capano or Capanu. I feel like Mark now, because somebody in chat mentioned who does Brad Cox like better, Cyberknife or oh hell, what's the horse's name? Zozos.
Zozos.
And this horse was second to Cyberknife last out. Sure, it was an optional claimer. Doesn't have the class. Doesn't have a lot going for it. But Josh, you referenced new shooter. So to me, the 2 and the 5 are both new shooters. They haven't been in the quote unquote graded stakes yet. They haven't been, in the comp, in the gun runners, things like that. So we don't know what this horse may do. That effort, that pace last out against Cyberknife was very honest. And this horse stayed within 2.5 the whole way, finished by 3, or second by 3. That's a pretty good effort for the first time going a mile and 16th as a 3-year-old with a 47-second half mile. To me, that it's one of those things that I'm watching. And this horse may not fire on Saturday, but this is one of those horses where I'm going to keep in my stable because come July, this is the kind of horse that can usually run pretty well.
So you're thinking that might be like a Travers or a Jim Dandy type horse?
It's possible. I mean, if we've seen that before, right? Where the horse starts slow and then runs one good race in the spring. I'm purely just going off for Cyberknife. So if you're high on Cyberknife, you say, okay, Capanu will be okay. The fractions were there, and the Briz speed figure is what it is. But if you're going by that, it's not that far off of Epicenter here, and Epicenter is going to be 10 times a lower price. So that's kind of takes me back to where I was with saying I'm going to take everybody and toss Epicenter because I can't strongly make an argument for the chalk. Sorry.
All right, going back to chat here. It looks like, yeah, Jay's like in. He said Rattle and Roll's tough call, but that is a 56 and change work. Was given a race and now they try. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Charles saying the Rattle and Roll needs 1 win for me to be with. It needs a pace meltdown. I'm similar to Charles in that I would give him another shot in this spot, but if he doesn't run at all here, I think that you just got to write him off until you see something else, because you can usually excuse the first one, but I don't know. That 2 to 3 jump, some horses just don't make it. And Nick saying that he thinks Rail and Roll got one hell of an epic pace to run into in the Keeneland race. That's an anomaly. So that could be the type of horse that that sticks around, clunks up for 4th and 5th in a lot of these races, and then the Tacitus type, right? Finally gets some pace in front of him and ends up winning a race once in every 3 years or whatever.
Somebody was asking in chat about the Echo Zulu, the long wait, and did that make me think that something make you think something's off? Is it odd kind of a thing? I don't think so. Quite honestly, I don't know where he puts that horse up until now. You're just really getting into those. There haven't been a ton of Oaks preps, and he probably only needs to run her once or twice before the Oaks. So I didn't find it suspect. He's going to have a very targeted campaign with her. They're obviously pointing Oaks. So he's got that ramp made up and he knows exactly what he has and what he needs to do to get her there. And I think he's just, why run her when you don't have to?
He raced more than I would have expected anyway, to be honest. It's just a 2-year-old. You don't see many 2-year-olds with 4 starts.
That's true.
Yeah, Dave says he'd rather
not that caliber. Yeah,
Dave says he'd rather Echo Zulu than Epicenter. I think basically everyone would rather Echo Zulu than Epicenter. I think Epicenter is still a single here, but I think it's more of a. I don't think Echo Zulu can lose. Knock on wood. I could see a way that Echo Zulu or Epicenter loses this race. I just don't think it's very likely. There were a couple people talking about before we get to the Turfway here, talking about Galt. I saw Dave Barista was asking. He's trying to like Galt, asking if we think that he's got a shot to get in the money. And I saw Galt's name somewhere else here.
Yeah, my issue
Sixer saying third time's a charm for Galt.
my issue with Galt is the fact that they let this horse go at 18-1 in the Fountain of Youth, and you're seeing 8-1 in the morning line now. I realized the horse tossed the rider, but I don't like to see, you had trouble and then you're much shorter next time out. Like, it feels like a suspect spot. Horse has every opportunity to, break, not have the losing the rider situation and to improve. But man, I sort of want to see one before I really bet this horse back. It feels like I need to see something more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I rewatched that replay of the Fountain of Youth, and even though they kind of cut out, a section where they had a horse go down, Galt was doing no running in that race. I mean, he was backpedaling from next to last at that point of the race, and yeah, he lost the rider, but he was never going to be a factor. I guess he could run, but to me, this is an OXO equine horse. I feel like at this point, they're known for taking just terrible shots with their horses, and I don't think this horse fits in here at all.
PET saying the sheets think that Pioneer Medina is only a half point slower than Epicenter.
There you go.
Yeah,
See,
I don't dislike Pioneer of Medina at all. I think that horse makes a lot of sense.
All right, we got about 5 minutes here to this Turfway race. I did see Nick. I saw your comment there about some of the earlier races. I'll get to it after here. Charles likes he's got $20 in the 2 here. He's all about anime out here, so he's gonna stay on the animated train here. Troublemaking here. Looks like 17-1 currently. So, what did you guys like here, Mark? What do you got so I can bet it since you're not betting it?
Yeah, I thought the 9 was a single here. If you want to go further than 9, I did have the 7 as a B, but I think the 9 was a lone A for me here, and I think is your most likely winner.
Cox has officially graduated to the Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, Bob Baffert school of when you're a maiden and you haven't won your first 2 tries, Caleb quits betting you. So, this 9 is not on any of my tickets. I think the 8 and the 9 both go, and I was kind of hoping it would set up for a closer. So I used the 5 and the 6, and I actually threw in the 3 as a kind of a bomb play here, just on the barn change. Iggy Correas is actually somewhat decent with this kind of a move here at Turfway, so I threw him in at an absolute bomb. But realistically, I think it's the 5 or the 6 for me.
Yeah, I took the 4 and the 5 here. I kind of saw it the same way. I thought maybe this is set up for the 5 with a little bit of pace here.
5's taking a lot of money.
And I thought the 4 is last. I thought the 4. So, kind of going back to what I was saying before, like, yeah, the 4 has got a bunch of runs into him, but I feel like the 4's best races are the last 2 races he's had or she's had, and they've been on synthetic, routing on synthetic, and they're staying routing on synthetic. So, I think that changed to synthetic. I think this might set up here for the 4. So. Brian, you got anything here?
no, I think you guys covered it. I'm trying to make an argument for the 1 twirling patty here. I'm spaced off my own little world here.
I can tell by the background.
What background?
Your background. You got like all like the
That
stuff
joke.
going?
That joke was so bad. Caleb left.
Yeah. No, he said beer. He said he's gonna grab the beer.
No. I the one first time on the surface since March of last year, looked okay in the only sprint, and then was horrible at the route. So, it's one of those types. It's like, do you want to make an argument for this horse? At what point? Oh man, this is one ugly race. But other than me trying to make an argument for the 1, I thought the 4 and the 7 made a ton of sense. I like the price on them. 9 looks really, really good, but either watch the race and root for the 9, or you try and find the price.
Jay thinks that the 1 sends and fades badly.
Very possible. I had the 3 as kind of I expect the 3 to be the clubhouse leader. Maybe the 8 will be up there. And the 1 has shown some versatility, but the 1's the kind of horse that's going to fade in the middle fractions. Middle half would be my thought process. So
Yeah,
well,
Lloyd's saying that's kind of out the 5 here. So, yep, I'm on the 4 and 5. Mark, I believe I have a caption for this. Oh, Beer Boy's back as they're loading in the gate here. Let me pull up Nick's. Oh, so something to think about as they're loading in the gate here. Nick is asking about Olympiad early on in the Fairgrounds card before we switch over to Dubai. He says he can't believe he's saying it, but he likes Proxy in that race. And I do know we have a friend
Greg?
of
Greg?
Yeah. Is that Greg? Oh boy. Man. I liked Proxy the best out of those Louisiana horses early in the year last year, and he's the only one that didn't pan out. Midnight Bourbon and Mandaloon both panned out. He didn't. So, it looks like the 7's going to the lead here at Turfway.
And just 2 words about that, Chess Chief.
God, Chess Chief.
That horse is
I can't wait till we get to Dubai because there's about 20 horses in there that owe Josh money on the card.
That's a good card. I mean, the feature races are
so good.
maybe not that good. At least the ones we're going to talk about, but a lot of the turf races are really fun.
Hey, it's already 10 to 9. There's no way we were going to make time limit for Dubai.
Well, I mean, I think at least one of the Dubai races is pretty quick. Even
You also thought,
you taking some logical horse.
Remember, horse of the century, horse of the lifetime,
generational, I believe.
Generational talent. There you go.
How about Charlie?
The 1 just acquired a boat anchor.
See, that's what I about expected, right?
You called it right.
The 4 is carrying much too much weight. It looks like he's not moving.
3 has horse if he gets a seam here. I don't know if I can catch the 9 from here, but
I don't know. This 5's making the middle move right there on the outside.
Okay, now the 1 is re-rallying. Okay.
During the turn, that's hardly a middle move. Come on now.
Mark does a lot of things prematurely.
Is this 1 going to win?
Point, Caleb.
I mean,
I can't tell. I think my 5 might be ahead.
Either the 5 is even or the 9 is 2 lengths ahead.
I think the 5's winning.
Yeah, I think it's
5's going to win. Let's call on the 5.
Oh, no. Don't you do it to me, Mark. Okay.
I should have called it earlier, is what you're saying?
Oh, God. So real quick, getting to Nick. So the New Orleans Classic, Olympiad's 8 to 5. Any interest in trying to get around this horse here?
I haven't looked, so I can't say.
No. Okay.
Chess
We'll have
Chief.
to get back to you. Apparently Brian likes Chess Chief.
Knowing what I know of Olympiad and just glancing at the other entrants, I'm probably not trying to beat Olympiad. This feels like a pretty soft spot.
I think you are. I think you're going to end up on Promise Keeper. I'm going to end up on Chess Chief. Mark's going to use half the field defensively. It's going to be solid.
Yeah. And then
all right, that sounds good.
You're going to goon by a like Ron Fauchot horse or something like that. But let's move on to Dubai here. UAE Derby. We'll talk about this one real quick. This does give points. Does this give enough points to get into the gate?
Yes,
you think?
it does.
It's a 100-point race.
100-point
Shut
race.
the
You're
fuck
in.
up. This is 100 points?
Yeah.
Always has been.
Dude, I thought it was like a 25-point race or something. I thought this
This
Jeff Ruby
is winning.
stakes.
You're in.
Wait a second. The Jeff Ruby stakes is 100 points now too, isn't it?
Yep.
Even the stakes.
Oh, I forgot they don't have the summaries on these. So what Pinehurst is going to be your heavy favorite. I don't know, Caleb. Do you have do they have odds for this on Bovada or anywhere?
I have odds on Briz. Let me see what Bovada looks like though.
I'm just curious, Bovada or maybe overseas. Maybe so I can pull up odds checker. I'm kind of curious what the markets look like for this, because
They actually do not. They do. Nope, they do not. They only have the World Cup, so they don't have the UAE Derby on Bovada anyway.
are you serious? They don't have Dubai on.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see 3-1 on Pinehurst. I think it's going to be more to the tune of, I don't know, 8-5, 9-5.
There's a big question there though. Are we commingled this year? And I think the pools are commingled, and that means you're going to have Japanese money in there, you're going to have European money in there, and that does oftentimes spread out. Now I realize it's Bob Baffert on dirt in the Middle East. The horse is going to take a ton of money, but if it was non-commingled and we were betting just against U.S. players, this horse might be 1-2, whereas you might get 7-5 range here, maybe.
I'll be interested. Like, I'm going to tell you guys right now, Pinehurst is 7-2 overseas.
That's surprising to me. I thought it'd be way shorter.
I see 11-4, 3-1 in a couple of shops, but I see 7-2 at some pretty sharp,
favorite,
sharp
though,
shops.
Right?
Yeah. Second choice is Combustion at 9-2.
That's about what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Combustion is.
It's a good Dolphin homebred from Japan.
Yeah, Japanese horse.
Oh, Japanese horse. Okay.
Yeah. I also thought I don't know.
Yeah, Azure Coast. Yeah, then you get
Azure Coast being the third choice. Yeah, those are the two I was
choice.
on.
Yep.
Yeah, Azure Coast is the local horse, right?
They technically both are.
Yeah. I was a little interested in Azure Coast just based off of what we saw at I know we're comparing apples and oranges a little bit, but what we saw in Saudi with the local horses doing a little bit better than they have in years past. So I was a little interested in seeing what this horse could do here. I was actually interested in the World Cup a little bit in the local horse there. I think that Barcelona's riding. I forgot what horse it was, but do you guys got any like real serious thoughts here on anybody outside of Pinehurst or Azure Coast?
If the 13 can draw inside a little bit further with a couple scratches, I liked Sekifu.
Second.
Yep. So just a pure class play horse did really well in Japan as a 2-year-old. Kicked off the season last month with a solid second place to Pinehurst. So I think it should be an interesting horse. 4-1 on the morning line. I think it might be a little too far out there for me right now, though. And I mean by post position. Sorry.
Yeah. Caleb, did you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't like Pinehurst. I don't think this horse wants any piece of a 1 3/16. Worst race of his career came going 2 turns at Del Mar. I don't think he wants to go this far. I mean, he might have every magic bean Baffert has, considering he's running in Dubai, but I'm not betting him. I don't also think Combustion wants to go this far. That is a very, very sprint-oriented pedigree. I don't think this horse wants to go that far either. The 2 horses I kind of liked here were the number 13, program number 14, or program 13, post 14, Sekifu. So this horse lost to Pinehurst by about half a length last time out. I thought this horse was moving best late. Should be fine with a little more ground compared to Pinehurst anyway. So I thought that, if you're going to upset the Americans here, it's more than likely with a Japanese runner. Another horse I kind of liked in here was actually the number 5, Bendug. I thought this horse has been against the flow of the race in each of his last 2 starts here. This is a horse that's going to be affordably placed, maybe up against a tough pace scenario once again. But he was the best of the horses involved in the early speed in both of his last 2 starts and has not embarrassed himself in either of those. He's a gun runner horse, a Kentucky bred. I think he has every right to stay on to this distance. He didn't lose by much last out, and I thought he might be an interesting player that I think is going to get completely overlooked on the board. So yeah, I like the 5 Benduk and then the 14 or 13 Sekifu. Mark, I feel like you probably have some depth here to add. So what'd you come up with?
No real depth. Honestly, I pretty much agree with you and Brian. Ended up, Pinehurst maybe just on the Baffert Beans sort of angle, but I sort of ended up on Azure Coast and Combustion. Those are the two horses when I'm betting. Well, I mean, I guess I realize Combustion isn't really as local a horse as Azure Coast is, but Japanese shippers to the Middle East have done extremely well. If you watch any of the Saudi races, I think they won about half the races on the card. And they've done very well at Dubai. So I think anything coming out of Japan that looks live, and I think of the Japanese horses, Combustion is your best Japanese horse, and the local horse is Azure Coast, who has won, is 2 for 2 across the track. Pedigree says this one should be able to stretch out. The distance shouldn't be a problem. I don't want to talk into death. I think we're all kind of on similar horses for similar reasons, and I know Brian's got a time commitment. So,
yeah. Any thoughts on the horse that won that race that Bendu was in, Quality Boon?
I think it's a nice horse. It's kind of a wonky setup here because the horse is technically considered a 4-year-old because being a South American bred, they don't turn 4 until August, but by U.S. standards, the horse is 4 right now. So it's carrying 10 extra pounds. Some people think it doesn't matter. That being said, I think he's a nice horse. I think he fits in here. And if I was going to play anything horizontally, he'd probably make my tickets as like a B. But, I kind of think he got set up last time, and I wouldn't be too keen to bet him back off of that. But at 15-1, that's a good price.
How would that work with Derby points?
They're ineligible. They can't get points.
I never really thought about that. Sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize it either. That was real interesting.
You're the South American horse guru. How did you not know that?
This is your turn. I take the Europeans. You're supposed to be South American.
And every Chilean horse that ships into like Pimlico, you're like
Argentina.
I know
Argentinians. It's Argentinians. He knows them all.
That's where all the distance pedigree is nowadays, man. They're the old Japan.
Bring up Michael's comment because I definitely wanted to talk about the horse for like 2 seconds. Yeah, I've been beating the drum of the Withers being a sneaky good race for like 2 months. And I think it's finally starting to check out. I mean, Unoho won the Rebel. We saw Grantham come back out of that race and run second in the Tampa Bay Derby. I'm with you. I think Gilded Age runs a big race. I think it's brutally hard to be a 1-run closer at Dubai. But I like Gilded Age here. I think he makes some sense.
When was the last time we saw Irad Ortiz on a 30-1 horse? I just happened to look at the horse above Gilded Age that you were talking about, Caleb. And a lot of people think the Withers came back really strong, just to back you up there. I'm one of the people that talk crap about the prep races in New York, and then for this race to be mounting up to what it's done, I'm just eating crow in 2022.
I mean, Golden Sense is sprint pedigree, isn't it?
Yes, Miler.
Miler, yeah. He won the Breeders' Cup Mile.
But they're in Dubai, and it's Doug O'Neill. I mean, if Baffert brought the whole thing, Doug did.
All right. So Brian, I know you got a time commitment here, but why don't you start? What do you like in the World Cup?
So a guy we know told me that there's a thing as a horse of a lifetime. What if I told you this man? She just walked right up to him and said, "You're cute. Buy me a beer." And now that same man told me that there's a generational horse running. Who am I to question that? So when Caleb said he loved Country Grammar, I said, you know what? I'm in. I said, Caleb, I'm not going to doubt you. You've got Frankie DeToro. You've got Bob Baffert, Country Grammar. Whatever you need, Caleb, I've got. So, let Caleb take Life is Good. Let Mark take Life is Good defensively. I'm going to go out and say the other Baffert. There's only one, but the other Baffert wins. Country Grammar. Life is Good's probably going to win, but Country Grammar is going to be a huge price. I can't pass it up. I mean, if Country Grammar is 7 or 8 or 9-1 in these big pools, it's going to tempt me too far. But I'll let Caleb talk about his love affair. His Life is Good.
I do love me some Life is Good. He's vindicated me so many times. He's made me, significant money. I'm a huge Life is Good fan. I don't like this distance for him. I'll be honest. I don't know if he's a classic distance horse, but I think he might just be talented enough to beat this field anyway. He's probably just that good. So yeah, I'm not trying to beat him. I mean, to Brian's credit, my second pick in here would be Country Grammar, even over like Hot Rod Charlie or Midnight Bourbon or anyone else. I do like Country Grammar here a lot. I think he runs a good race, but for me, Life is Good is just nobody else in this field breathes the same air as Life is Good. So I'm singling.
Mark.
Life is Good by as many lengths as he wants. I 100% agree with Caleb.
Interesting. Really? You guys are just eating the chalk.
No concern about the post Pegasus bounce going out to Dubai.
I mean, you can always come up with something, right? You can always say, "Oh, this or that or whatever." I just think he's an absolute freakish talent. And I mean, honestly, did he work that hard in his Pegasus? He kind of got it done pretty easy. Didn't look like he really had to dig in that much. I just think he's so much better right now than everyone else that it's not going to matter. I think he can. God, I hate to say this. I don't think he even needs his A+ game to win this. I think he just needs to run a decent race, and this should be his.
Man, it sounds like what we were saying about Nick Sko last year.
Yep. Didn't Mark love Nick Sko last year too?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, with last year, was it that the Charlatan race or was that a different race?
I don't know. I can always get it mixed up. Who knows? I might not even be talking about the same race. But
it might have been. I think it was a Saudi race.
It might have been the Saudi race. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Country Grammar ran a hell of a race last time out. I was kind of memeing that he was going to win, and he sure as heck showed up and almost won that race. I mean, he ran the best of the American horses, and it took the winner was what paid like $200, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it took that horse beating him. But that doesn't it doesn't really exude confidence, right? That got boomed by a local horse there. I was a little interested in the Japanese horse shipping over, Chuwa Wizard, mostly because you definitely got the distance. Distance is not going to be a problem with this horse. This horse runs really well at the longer distances, and I don't know what the heck the Japanese have done this year, but I mean, they are just shipping in and just winning everywhere. So I was interested in the two Chuwa Wizard a little bit. Probably be more of an underneath play, but was definitely one I was looking at a little bit. Kind of coming in off some nice form with a win last time out. But honestly, at that point I'm just like trying to pick at straws to find someone to win who can beat Life is Good. I'm not going to take. Yep.
Before you go too far, scroll back up to hypothetical. One up on the 6 horse. If you are a horse for course person, and you are somebody that likes some recency as well, you're getting Mikhail Barzaloza, who's arguably the best jock in the world. You're getting a horse that's won 2 straight across this track. Horse is 4 of 8 lifetime. And 6 of 8 in the money at Dubai at 20-1 on the morning line. Not the worst angle if you are somebody that likes to go bomb hunting in these types of races.
Hey, before you keep going, real quick, I gotta jump off.
All right,
I just wanted to finish this with one thing and one thing only. Radar Superstar. He's fucking good. Later.
Yeah. All right, see you, Bri. I was actually the point I was actually trying to get to, Mark, right before you jumped in was, if you're gonna try and beat Life is Good, I don't think you try and beat Life is Good with a horse like Hot Rod Charlie, who's going to be your second choice, who's going to be 3-1, who's going to be 5-2. I will say the one thing I can say positive about Hot Rod Charlie, he's got to run over the track. And, like, I feel like if you try to get around Life is Good, you don't use, like, if you really do like Hot Rod Charlie more, like, okay, go for it. But don't use the second choice plus more. Like, I think Hot Rod Charlie is going to be awfully short here. I'm looking at the odds overseas, and I see 3-1. So he's going to be very, very much ingrained at 3-1. I think I see 11-4, so even a little bit shorter. But like if someone's like Hot Rod Charlie's my horse in this race, I won't blame them. But I think I'm going to take my shot with some longer priced horses, like a Hypothetical, which was the horse I was talking about earlier, the local horse here. Kind of won the prep for this. Has won the last two at Dubai. This is the local horse, and hey, we saw what the local horse did last time. And you're going to get every bit of this price. I believe Hypothetical is 18-1, 14-1 overseas. So,
You mean last time in Saudi, not Dubai, because they're not the same place.
Yeah, I know what I mean. But the local horse won and boomed. All these American horses who, with the exception of Life is Good shipping over, I just don't know if the American dirt horses are as strong as they have been in the past. I mean, maybe we just say that every year, right? That the handicap division is getting worse and worse and worse. But I mean, I don't know. The fact that a like 150-1 horse beat all the American horses, dirt horses in Saudi, just like does not sit well with I guess the quality of American dirt racing currently. But I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I think if we do have a horse that definitely is generational, like Caleb said, it probably his Life is Good in the spot. So, who just pinged me? Oh, yeah. Nick is mentioning this is a completely different race though. That was a 1-turn Saudi race. This is 2 turns. Yeah. And it's a different distance too, right? That was a 1.125 miles. This is a 1.25 miles. It's a classic distance race.
I also will say, as somebody who plays a lot of Dubai, Dubai plays much more fair than the Saudi track does. They don't honestly run that many days at Saudi. I think they only run 3 or 4 days a year at that track. It's a very lightly used track, and it plays like that. It plays like a very inconsistent surface, and you get those really aberrant, crazy prices, and it's a lot less consistent. Dubai is a lot more consistent, a lot more playable as a track. So I tend to kind of, you've had a couple in the past few years of the the Saudi winners who have been big prices, and I sort of tend to, I don't know, somewhat brush those aside and somewhat ignore them because I think it partially comes down to the track.
Anything you want this weekend's racing?
Texas Champions Day.
Yes. Oh man, Saturday.
Will the lights stay on this year?
I sure hope so.
Unless me and Josh are winning.
Mm-hmm. The lights will stay on this year, but I'll be down a couple hundred or something probably. I did see Mark, your horse tourneys is running a nice big Dubai World Cup tournament.
Yep, $10,000 guarantee in the pot, and not a ton of entrants in it so far. That is, I think, a must-play type tournament if you're somebody that wants a little Saturday morning action. So take a look at that one. It should be a lot of fun. I will 100% be involved in that. I actually have already bought my spot. So,
what was it? 175.
I think it was. Yeah, I think 175 for it. And that it should be a pretty decent first prize.
And Caleb, I think you're mentioning that Stable Duel's got something going on.
Yeah, Stable Duel. They have a good Saturday. There's a $10,000 guaranteed contest for Dubai World Cup, and like 90% of the people that play that don't know anything about international racing. So, and probably half of the people don't know anything about racing in general. So, like, it's going to be easy to make some money. I mean, as long as you don't totally miss the boat. So, I'm going to jump into that, and then. Yeah, the early post time at Dubai does make it kind of a pain in the ass. I won't be up at 6:45 on Saturday to watch that first post, so I'll have to get locked in by Friday and hope I don't get any scratches. But yeah, I mean, between that, Sam Houston and Fairgrounds, that's a good day of racing on Saturday.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I will be probably the person up at 6:45 playing Dubai, but yeah, I just pulled it up, Josh. It's a 190, but top prize is 5,000. So, and obviously that scales as they get more entrants, and there's only like not very many people in it right now. There's only what is it, 7 entries so far. I expect it to fill up a lot more than that, but it might be something that I think it's the first time they've ever done this one, so you might get an overlay pool, which is always good.
Cool. Well, Steven asking if there's a stream Saturday.
Yeah, I was sort of talking about that, Josh. If we, I realize, I know you don't, not an early morning person, but did we want to hop on maybe Saturday and talk a little Dubai, talk a little racing action?
Possibly. I will.
Sam Houston.
Yeah, I will have to get back to you on that. My schedule got all messed up because of my wife being sick last weekend. So I will get back to you, and we'll post it on Twitter.
Andy's supposed to be on.
Yeah, I know. Poor Andy. Andy getting just blue balled once again by us. But yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. It was fun. We got looks like we got about 4 minutes to this last race. I don't know if you guys want to hang out till then, or if you want to cut out now.
I closed out a pick 3 for $1 to the 7. I don't really have that much confidence in the 7, but I hated this race. I don't think you want to be near the lead, so I kind of got rid of like the 5 and a couple of the sprinters stretching out. I just thought the 7 on the class drop and Bejarano, I mean, riding pretty well. It was a force play, but for $9, I could bet worse. So yeah, I got $1 pick 3 into the 7. They're paying really well too. If you beat the 6 or the 2, they pay really well.
Yeah, I have the 2 and the 6.
Well,
So
I'm looking at these pick 4 will pays and really kicking myself that I didn't play it and somehow come up with your 5 there.
The 5 would have been pretty easy to have, I think, if you would have gone more than the 9.
Yeah, I really quickly capped it because I didn't want Josh to throw up and go, oh, hey, cover this race and be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I got the 2 and the 6 here, and it looks like it's a chalk. I just got a double to it for a couple bucks, so it's nothing to write home about. Just figured if the pick 4 got busted and the pick 3 got busted, you got to run back to double. So the old Caleb corollary. Nick C here says 5-7 exacta box for him. Nick saying let's hang out. Yeah, we'll hang out for a couple more minutes. Jay asking about Welder running at Saturday at Sam Houston, but I thought Welder's like an Okie bred, isn't he? So this is all. I thought this was all. I thought this was all Texas breds. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me download the PP. Horses. No, there's not a Welder runner. So, but what do we got for a card? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stakes races at Sam Houston. Starting, yep. Texas breds. Yeah. And they've been off the turf. They're off the turf until Saturday, so they're trying to preserve that turf course. I guess they got a bunch of rain.
Nice.
So let's see, we got Turfway last race. Be careful, bet small. Maiden claiming number 6 should be around at the wire. Yeah, 6 current favorite, 8-5 right now. Nick Feldman, he likes the number 4 here as a long shot. Last out, highest late pace of all the horses in this race. And he feels like that late pace plays well at Turfway. You got 10-1 here on this 4. Yeah, this This is going to be. I mean, well, it's kind of sad though too, Caleb, because this is the last. I think Sam Houston closes this weekend.
Sam Houston,
Fairgrounds.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm gonna have to find me some new honey holes.
Yeah, the I think those are my two only positive tracks on the year. Are Sam Houston and
Losing Fairgrounds
Fairgrounds.
is gonna kill me because I've made that's where I've buttered my bread this year. But
Yeah.
that and the golden hour.
Well,
Yeah,
it's all right, dude. We'll have Gulfstream Park.
I say Michael's asking in chat about some of the other Dubai races. I didn't know if you guys had taken a look at all. I'm the person who has capped the entire sequence, so I'm that person.
I can pull up the old PPs here. Oh no,
that's clearly not Dubai.
No, but I don't know why this happens. Like, I get this like weird thing with sharing my screen, and all of a sudden my like USB devices like get all messed up.
Of course, Michael says the big turf races, and there's about 6 of them on the card.
Well, why don't you pick one or two that you like that were interested? Which
I guess the big one to really talk about is race 8, which is the which is the big money, the Shima Classic. And I actually sort of landed on a bit of a price in there. I thought Pile Driver was super interesting. I've been betting this horse for forever, but you're getting Frankie Dettori. You're getting a horse that, if you can excuse the last, which I can because it's Saudi and I tend to just sort of discard stuff over that track. Horse has been in really, really good form. And is spotted really well. 15-1 on the morning line. I thought Pile Driver in there made just an absolute ton of sense. Yabir is your favorite. Yabir has won 3 straight. Obviously saw what he did in the BC Turf. He's a logical favorite. Makes a ton of sense. We haven't seen him since November. I don't think anything's gone south, and he is a 4-year-old now, so he has every right to step forward. I just kind of think from a value proposition, Yabir takes a ton of money, ends up kind of short, and I want somebody, that a little pricier horse that is a little more of a cute one, somebody like a Pile Driver.
List 11 might
11
be gone.
Wasn't that Mark's pick or no?
That was my
Mark's
pick.
pick.
Oh,
wait,
he's gonna get battled back
who
on the
battled back on
inside.
the inside? Was it the 10?
10. Yeah, 10.
He was like 50-1, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Oh my goodness. I just marked that one. Yeah, Julio Felix, dude, booming us at 43-1.
Yeah, this is one of them
Goodness
races. It
gracious.
just felt like if you just almost had to buy it.
Yeah, 43-1 with
See, so I'm pretty sure before the stream, a couple of people were giving me crap about being 5 deep in that race and not feeling like I had enough coverage. I'm just mentioning.
Yep. As usual, we talk shit to Mark and it blows up in our face. But and surprise, surprise, Mark takes Pile Driver. What I was actually curious about what odds Glory Vase was going to be in this race. I'm seeing 8-9-1 on Glory Vase. I thought Glory Vase was really interesting. What number is he in this?
A 4 in there.
4? Yeah, he's 7-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, again, another one of those Japanese shippers. Obviously out of deep impact line, so he'll be able to get the distance. Horse that's obviously very, very, very talented. Won the Hong Kong Vase last out. A couple of other real big wins. Couldn't quite get it done in the QE2. But I think Glory Vase is super interesting there. I don't think he gets 7-1. I think that's a bit of a bad line. But again, if I'm assuming they're commingled, I haven't actually seen something like that. If you get into a situation where the pools are not commingled and this is US only, you might get a even better price of that in Glory Vase with people just not knowing how to value that horse.
I know one of them was Hong Kong pools. I don't know if it was Saudi or if it's Dubai. But one of them,
It's normally Dubai. They run through the Hong Kong pools. Saudi has never really played nice with other people for some reason. I realize it's not the jurisdiction because obviously it's illegal to gamble at both locations, but they've just never sort of had that tie-in that Hong Kong does.
Wait a second. The Saudis haven't played nice with other people?
Shocker.
No.
Absolutely shocker.
Imagine my shock.
Oh, wow. I don't know. Caleb, did you look at this race at all?
I have not had a chance to look at it now.
Okay. Yeah, I thought a lot of these were very interesting races, and especially with these morning lines, I think that this is going to be some nonsense with Stable Duel.
This would be a place where if you're good at stable duel, you could just absolutely murder things because this is going to be so poorly valued in the stable duel that
Yeah, I'm sure Michael's going to have like 5 stables in the top 10.
Yeah, Michael's just licking his chops right now. He hates this 12, and this 12 is going to be 4-1.
I 100% agree with him. Yeah, no, that horse, no way. You need 10 or 12 to 1 probably for me to get super interested in that horse.
There's no random
that Contrail didn't ship, to tell you the truth, but
there's no like random American horse in here, is there? Is this gonna take all the American money? I don't think so. Where's Channel Maker at?
Retired.
You sure? Are you sure they didn't just send him back over to keep running in overseas? Yeah, no, it's all.
I don't think there are a couple of Americans in some of the earlier races, but
but what are they looking at?
I don't know.
They're looking at the 3. The 3 did something, but there it is. Michael's like, I can't wait for there to be 25 total stables in that tournament at 7:45 a.m.
Probably true.
Yeah, he's probably not. Yeah, Colonel Liam's in race 7. Nick just mentioned that. He was one of them. There's a couple of others. I thought Colonel Liam, actually, you're getting 7-1 on the morning line for Colonel Liam. I honestly think if you get 7-1, that's actually a super interesting spot to take a stab at Colonel Liam. My problem is, well, if it's commingled pools, you're probably going to get 7-1. If it's not commingled pools, you might not. But I think Colonel Liam is a horse that the Euros and Hong Kong players probably don't know as well as Americans do, and he's a legit talented horse, and he'd be a talented horse on the world stage as well. If they had campaigned him like that, and they just haven't. They've kept him domestic, when there's nothing wrong with that at all. I always like to see good turf horses kept locally, so I can actually see him run more often in person.
I have to say that I don't like keeping it domestic just because of all the shit I talked about Winks. So I feel like I can't be heard saying anything like that. So
yeah, but I mean, if you're talking race 7, I actually had Colonel Liam on top. I also thought the 11 horse, which is one that I'm going to absolutely slaughter the name on, Penathalassa, also was a super interesting play there. Schnellmeister at 2-1, I think is laughable. I don't understand that horse at 2-1. I think that's just a really bad morning line. I realize he won, what he did last out, but that just seems like he's being way over bet coming out of that race.
I'll tell you right now that the overseas has got him at 9-4, 2-1. 85-40. I don't know why the fuck they have 85-40, but apparently those are odds overseas.
Lord North
and
Lord North and Lord Glitters
and Moafeth are the second and third choice.
What is Lord Glitters overseas?
16-1 to 12-1, somewhere in that area.
Ooh. I have a soft spot for Lord Glitters, and he's your quintessential every other type, and this should be the every. So I do like Lord Glitters a lot.
And I think he's like 15-1 the line, yeah. So
yeah, line's 15-1 on him. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, man. There's I think this is a very interesting this is a very interesting contest area because you got some huge fields and you got a lot of international horses, and yeah, like if you put in the work and really look at some replays and like dig into the PPs here, I think you can make some money. But Nick is asking about are there pick 3s
I
to pick 4s?
I have not seen the wagering menu yet for this year, and that's to do with the fact that it's again, Dubai is a little weird because when you say you're betting Naira, for instance, Naira sets those wagers. They say, hey, we're gonna have a double here, a pick 3 here, a pick 5 there, and they set those wagers. You can't bet there in Dubai, so it's whatever Hong Kong, who is commingling, decides to do. I have not seen a menu, but I do see on the Briz forum that there is a race 6 pick 4 listed right now. So I'm assuming 6, 7, and 8, 9, and I would imagine race 4 you probably get a pick 6, which is probably a $1 base pick 6, which are pretty. Yep, they have it listed 4 through 9 as a $1 base pick 6. So and it looks like they have rolling pick 3s set up. So yeah, looks like you do have the option of pick 3s, pick 4s, and you do have that one pick 6 shot.
I heard rolling pick 3s in my eyes. Just,
yeah, which is
but-
nice. And you think rolling pick 3s are like a normal thing that always happen, but that has not been the case for places like Dubai, where it's like, oh, I can just win back. I can play Quinellas or whatever, but I can't play a double. So it's always been a little frustrating.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you once again to Ed for giving us a little shout out and providing us a little fun little graphic for the Muniz. And yeah, it's gonna be a great weekend of racing, and we're gonna finally have some back-to-back weekends of good racing. So it should be a fun spring, a fun summer, and roll right into Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. So for Brian, I'm Josh. And for Caleb and Mark on the wrong lead, catch us at ontherwronglead.com. We have a new article up there by Brian. Caleb, I believe, is going to be doing a video, probably come out tomorrow at some point with Horse Racing Nation. So check that out. And then take a look on Twitter. We'll post if we do end up doing that Saturday morning show this week. We've been meaning to spin it up. It's just been Mark. Mark does skiing lessons basically on the weekend, so it's been kind of tough to get that off the get the ball rolling on that with skiing season still going on. But looks like we're nearing the end of that, so we'll probably start doing something on Saturday mornings as well. So, but yeah, buy a T-shirt on therwronglead.com. Check out the article, and we will catch you guys later.